But now, before we look at how they declined, I've just made a brief overview of how they settled, how they developed, and finally how they declined. But now, my dear Lana, I want us to discuss briefly the factors that led to the growth of the Shona Kingdom, and we have already mentioned some of them. So we are just going to list them down so that, my dear Lana, you are able to differentiate and able to discuss them. The first one that we have already mentioned is the able leadership. Able leadership. The Shona had very strong and organized leaders. We have mentioned the Chikura, a man known as Chikura, and also the Nyatsimba Mutota. So these leaders did a lot of work in bringing the people together and laying down structures that ensured that the kingdom was or continued to expand, and it had a good leadership. So that was the first factor that really contributed to the development of the Shona kingdom. The other one was farming. When you check in your maps where you'll find River Limpopo and River Zimbabwe, or the modern day Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe and Mozambique, you'll find that it is a highland area. They have very good climate. And now the rivers, the River Limpopo and Zambezi, provided constant supply of water. Remember, these are permanent rivers. They provided constant supply of water. So with farming, they were able to provide enough food. They were able to provide enough food, and when people are well fed, the population increases. So this increases the chances of survival of that community. So farming was another factor that really encouraged or that contributed to the development of the Shona kingdom. The other one was the army. They had a very strong standing army. They had a strong standing army. So it was not just an army. It was a well-organized, very formidable force. And it was always ready. When you talk of standing, it was ready to go into war at any time. So the army protected the Shona kingdom and also expanded her boundaries. So with a very strong army combined with very good leadership, the Shona were expanded and became a very strong kingdom. The other factor was mineral deposits. Mineral deposits. The strongest kingdom at that time, now the Shona kingdom, they had deposits of gold, as I have mentioned, and also copper. So these provided them with wealth. With wealth, they were able to acquire anything that they needed. With wealth that they got from gold and copper, they would sell that to their neighbors that do not have and exchange it with that or with things that they were unable to get. And with that, they were able to get arms. So that is another factor. They were able to access arms. So with the gold and the wealth they have gotten, they were able to get guns. They were able to trade at the coast. Remember, they are almost at the coast of the Indian Ocean. So they were able to exchange the gold and the copper that they had gotten to get arms, which they used to conquer neighboring communities and also defend themselves from any kind of attack. So with these arms and minerals, How was it? How are they exchanging? It was through trade. So that is another factor that really contributed to the development and the growth of the Shona Kingdom. So trading, the Shona were part of the long distance trade, and we keep on mentioning this long distance trade, which was very essential. It brought a lot of wealth. It provided them with capital. The arms that we are talking about were acquired during the long distance trade. So these people, the Shona, developed their kingdom from the proceeds they got from the trade. Any person who was trading or passing through their territory had to pay some taxes or some tributes to the king at that time. That gave them a significant advantage over the other communities. So that is just an introduction or just an overview of how the Shona developed, or how the Shona kingdom became to be a strong people and a strong kingdoms.